Picture this, the 9th century. In the frozen north, long ships slice through icy waters, carrying fearsome warriors known as the Vikings. Far to the south, under the warm sun of the Iberian Peninsula, lies the magnificent Islamic Emirate of Córdoba, a beacon of science, art, and culture. Two powerful worlds, separated by thousands of miles. You'd think their stories would never cross. But they did, in ways that were both shockingly violent and surprisingly intimate. This is the forgotten saga of when the Vikings met the Caliphate. Our story begins not with a friendly handshake, but with fire and steel. The year is 844 AD. A fleet of around 80 Viking longships, a sight never before seen in these southern waters, appears off the coast of al-Andalus, modern-day Spain and Portugal. They first sack Lisbon, then sail up the Guadalquivir River. Their target, the glittering city of Ishbilia, which we now know as Seville. For the people of Seville, it was a scene from a nightmare. The Mayajas, or fire worshippers, as the Arabic chronicles called them, swarmed the city. They were relentless, skilled in surprise attacks, and utterly ruthless. The city, largely undefended by walls, fell quickly. For 7 days, the Vikings plundered, burned, and terrorized the population. The news sent shockwaves across the emirate. The ruler, Abd al-Rahman II, was a sophisticated and powerful leader. But this was a threat unlike any he had ever faced. But the Emirate of Córdoba was no easy target. Al-Rahman rallied his forces. A formidable army, led by the brilliant general Musa ibn Musa al-Qasawi, marched to reclaim Seville. They engaged the Vikings in a brutal, bloody battle at Tablada. The disciplined, well-equipped Andalusi soldiers, fighting on their home turf, proved superior. They crushed the Viking force, retook Seville, and chased the survivors back to their ships. The captured Vikings were executed, and their heads were sent as a grim warning to other cities. As a final message, the palms of Seville were said to be decorated with the impaled heads of the defeated Norsemen. After this devastating encounter, Abd al-Rahman learned his lesson. He ordered the construction of a powerful navy and established a coastal defense system with watchtowers to prevent any future surprises. He even sent an ambassador, a poet named al-Ghazal, north to the court of a Viking king, a remarkable diplomatic mission for the time. The Vikings would try to raid again, but they would never again achieve the same level of surprise or success in al-Andalus. The first chapter of their interaction was written in blood. But this violent clash is only half the story. While one group of Vikings was raiding Spain, others were looking east, not for plunder, but for profit. This is where the story shifts from the battlefield to the marketplace. From the coasts of Iberia to the vast river systems of Eastern Europe, the Vikings were not just raiders, they were perhaps the greatest traders of their age. They established an incredible trade network known as the Volga trade route. Imagine this journey. Starting from Scandinavia, they would sail across the Baltic Sea, navigate the rivers of modern-day Russia and Ukraine, drag their ships overland between waterways, and finally emerge into the Caspian Sea. Their ultimate destination is the bustling cosmopolitan markets of the Abbasid Caliphate, with its legendary capital, Baghdad. What were they trading? From the north, they brought the riches of the forest and the sea, precious furs from sable, marten, and fox, walrus ivory, which they called fish tooth, honey, axe, and most prized of all, amber, the gold of the north. In exchange, they sought the one thing the Islamic world had in abundance: silver. The silver dirham, the currency of the Caliphate, became the cornerstone of the Viking economy. Archaeologists have unearthed staggering evidence of this trade. Over 200,000 Islamic silver coins have been discovered in Scandinavia, more than in any other region outside the Middle East itself. These hoards tell a story of immense wealth flowing north. For a Viking chieftain, possessing a pouch full of gleaming silver dirhams, stamped with Arabic script, was the ultimate status symbol. It was proof of his success, his daring, and his connection to a world of unimaginable riches. An Arab diplomat and traveler named Ahmad ibn Fadlan gives us a rare first-hand account of these rust traders. He called the Vikings he met on the Volga River in the early 10th century. He was both fascinated and appalled by them, described them as perfect physical specimens, tall as date palms, but also criticized their hygiene, calling them the filthiest of God's creatures. He witnessed their elaborate ship burials, their strange rituals, and their fierce devotion to their gods and their chieftains. His account is an incredible window into this cultural crossroads, a meeting of two vastly different worlds on the remote frontier of civilization. This connection wasn't just about coins and furs. The exchange went much deeper, weaving its way into the very fabric of Viking culture. In the 19th century, archaeologists excavating a Viking boat grave in Birka, Sweden, made a startling discovery. They found a small silver ring on the finger of a buried woman. It wasn't just any ring. It was inlaid with a piece of colored glass, and inscribed upon it in Kufic Arabic script were the words Ilallah, which means for Allah or to Allah. How did this ring, with its explicitly Islamic inscription, end up in the grave of a 9th century Viking woman in Sweden? Was she a convert? Is it a gift from a trader? A piece of loot from a raid? Or simply a beautiful exotic object whose inscription was valued for its aesthetic, not its meaning? We may never know for sure, but its existence is a powerful symbol of the complex interactions between these two cultures. And there's more. Fragments of silk, a luxury fabric produced in the Islamic world, have also been found in Viking graves. Some of these silk bands, used to decorate clothing, have something truly astonishing woven into them, the word Allah in Arabic script. Sometimes alongside the name Ali, these patterns were likely created in Central Asia and traded along the Silk Road before making their way into Viking hands. It's mind-boggling to think that a Viking chieftain, buried in Scandinavia, might have been laid to rest, adorned with fabric bearing the name of God in Arabic. These discoveries challenge our simple narratives. They show that the relationship between the Vikings and the Islamic world was in a simple binary of us versus them. It was a messy, complicated, deeply human story. A Viking might raid a mosque in Spain one year and trade peacefully for a dirham stamped with a Quranic verse the next. He might see the Saracens as enemies on the battlefield, but also as valuable partners in a global trade network. So what can we take away from this epic, forgotten history? It reveals that the medieval world was far more interconnected than we often imagine. Long before the age of the internet or airplanes, people, goods, and ideas traveled vast distances, creating a complex web of conflict, commerce, and cultural exchange. The story of the Vikings and the Caliphate is a powerful reminder that history is never black and white. It's a tapestry woven with threads of different colors and textures. One thread is the brutal raid on Seville, a story of violence and fear. Another is the Silver Dirham, a story of ambition and commerce. Yet another is the ring inscribed for Allah, a story of mystery and connection. Together, these threads create a richer, more nuanced, and far more fascinating picture of our shared past. They show us two of the world's most dynamic civilizations, not just as distant entities, but as people who met, fought, traded, and ultimately changed each other's worlds forever. Thanks for watching. If you found this hidden history as fascinating as I do, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next journey into the past.